Hello everybody, we are in San Francisco at Founder World. I'm joined in the studio by Kevin Holmes, the founder and CEO of Founder Network. Kevin, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So let's start with, what is Founder Network?
Sure. So Founders Network is a peer mentorship organization of 500 plus tech startup founders. In 3 words, it's founders helping founders.
Okay, so what does that entail?
So, like I said, we're a peer mentorship organization.
Yep.
So the way I unpack that is advice based on experience, warm introductions, and then moral support.
Okay.
And so the way we facilitate that is we have a platform. We have a custom platform that we push weekly updates to. A very engaging platform with 90% monthly active users.
Wow.
People are using the forum there, email-based interactions, and they're asking for help and receiving help all the time. And then in addition to that, we do over 100 events a year, mainly in San Francisco, Silicon Valley, and New York, but also in Vancouver and other emerging markets. And then the third thing is we have a staff of 8 people, so we're always looking at how we can facilitate the network for the members of the community.
Okay. And these are founders, so they have started their own full-time company, they have founded it themselves.
Right, so one of the aspects of Founders Network is if you're going to receive peer mentorship, you want to make sure that it's from people who know what they're talking about. So, there's a ton of great resources out there and a lot of great information about how to do things.
Yep.
The Lean Startup is a really, well-known book that's often quoted, chapter and verse almost. But what we're really focused on is actually creating liquidity around the expertise of the members in the network. And so we want to make sure they have good experience. And so we basically have 3 membership criteria. You have to be a founder. It has to be a tech startup that you're working on full-time, so you've taken the leap,
right,
and you're committed to making it succeed. And then the third thing is that you're invited by a current member, so we are invite only.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
And so the membership base probably centered around where you do events, but sounds like it's international as well?
Yeah, so good question. Most of our members are based in the tech hubs. Sort of what you do, if you're in Silicon Valley, you start a company. It's kind of the expected route in life. You don't buy a home. We also have probably 20% of our membership that's located all over. And because we have the platform, they can engage online. They don't have to, jump in a car or in a plane and fly to Silicon Valley. They can get help from other members without leaving their screen, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you have any favorite stories about things that have happened on the platform that you're kind of really proud of?
Yeah. So one of my favorite stories is we have a feature called anonymous posting where you can post to the network without revealing your identity.
Right.
And by and large, we don't use it because it's a closed community and people feel comfortable sort of sharing how they're feeling and what they're working on and those types of things. But in this case, a member was dealing with depression. And so it's sort of, an edgy topic, and people aren't always open about talking about those things. More and more they are, and that's good. That's a good thing. There's been a lot of talk about, founder suicide, and Brad Feld at Techstars has talked about that a lot. But this member talked about the fact that he couldn't get out of bed for 5 days and had to tell his team, and do I tell my team? Do I not tell them? They're going to know something's up. What do I do? And we have 500 members, at least 50 people replied on that thread. And when you reply there, you can't reply anonymously. You have to come out and say who you are. And so many members said, hey, I have depression too. I treat it like a handicap. Here's how I deal with it.
Sure.
It was my favorite moment in 4 years of doing this. Wow. It really it was so cool to see the support and the community and the realness of that. That potentially saved this person's life. But also everybody else that had that and was struggling with that was able to talk about it. So by far, that was my favorite moment in 4.5 years of doing this.
That is a pretty good moment.
Yeah.
That's an awesome one. Cool. So Founder World,
yes.
Besides sharing the name of Founder, what has attracted you to this event?
Well, it's a relatively new event. I think it's the first year doing this. And when we saw the opportunity, we thought, what a great way to kind of connect. Founders Network, our members are founders of startups. In fact, many of them are here today. So other people that exhibited today are members of Founders Network. We have over 500 members. This year, they're on track to raise $250 million in funding as a community. So all stages, but also really experienced. And so some of them are up on stage, some of them are exhibiting, some of them are just attending very early stage, as attendees. So it's sort of a no-brainer for us to be here and be part of it.
Yeah, that makes sense. So obviously, with having that strong of a network, you're going to have an awesome cross-section of technologies that you kind of get insight into. Is there anything in particular that excites you right now?
Yeah, one of the things I think is cutting edge and exciting and also a little bit, potentially scary is this Nightscope's technology, and this is a founder of Founders Network, a member of Founders Network, Bill Lee. He's a former automotive industry executive, and he started post 9/11. He wanted to enhance security, and so he's built sort of an R2D2 mobile robot, and it's awesome to see. It's really friendly and cool, and I think if anybody's going to sort of help bring robotic security to market, it's going to be Bill Lee. And so it's very exciting to see.
Yeah.
Of course, there's always the tinfoil hat
For sure.
conspiracy theories.
But it's cool to see too, because they're actually out front right now. Right?
Yeah. They're securing the perimeter.
Securing the perimeter. Yeah. That's awesome. Favorite Google technology?
That's something that I could debate for hours, but I'd say Gmail by far and away is what I use the most.
Yeah.
I had an argument or a debate with someone about, they'd say calendar is more important than Gmail and is the anchor for stickiness for Gmail, which I thought was an interesting case.
Yeah.
And then of course there's search, which is like, you just almost don't even think of it.
Yeah, it's ubiquitous.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin, thank you very much for joining me here.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
Pleasure.
And thank you guys for joining. We're at Founders World in San Francisco, and I am Kory.